All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are almost done John's holster, and it's so exciting. Um, However, I did find a mistake. We'll talk about it in a second. But all of the stitching is done. Look how nice that is. We've got. I'm not going to do a video on putting the hardware on. That's real simple stuff. So, what this one's going to be is Resolene. You can see it right here in the background. Okay, this is what I use on my stuff. So I've got a couple different things here to get in all the little nooks and crannies, and if you remember, we actually already sealed the inside, right, because that's going to be a hard to reach place. I'm going to put a little bit in there to give the stitching a little coating. I unfocused again. I don't know what's wrong with this thing, but so it's really exciting because we're almost done. So hopefully I can have it to him this weekend. I had to put it to the side. I had some other work to do. Luckily, John wasn't in a rush. He's been very patient with me. And but now that we are almost done, it's super exciting. And I started posting the videos. They've gotten pretty good feedback so far. So, talk about my mistake real quick before we start. If you remember, in one, I had my snap here. And I found that once it was all stitched together, the gun didn't quite sit as deep as I thought it was going to. So when I flipped it over, it wasn't going to work. I probably could have forced it, but I don't want it to be forced. I want it to work right? So I'm actually going to move the snap up, and instead of having 3 rivets back here on the back side here for your hard point, I'm actually going to put the snap at this bottom loop or bottom hole, and then it'll probably actually work better that way. So, but again, I'm not going to do a video on the hardware because that's super simple stuff. I might do one on another project another day, but I think I'm up to like 19 videos at this point on just this holster. I do apologize if the wind overtakes me. The weather is terrible today. My camera's shaking. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this. I'm not going to do everything on camera, but I wanted to show you just a couple of things I have here. So, first thing is I have my Resolene, but you notice I have it in this big bottle. So, glass jar you can get from Tandy Leather, Walmart, pretty much anywhere. And I dump some in here because it's got a nice big open mouth, so it's easier to get the brushes and things in there. I have these little like 26 cents, 1 inch sponge brushes, and these are really good because I don't have to put it in there. It's not like the daubers. It's not going to leave the fibers behind and things like that, and especially on the outside. I don't want there to be fibers. On the inside, it's going to mix with the leather fibers, and there's nothing I can do about that. But on the outside, I definitely want to do that. So I went ahead and got like a 20 or 30, 25 pack of these brushes because I use them quite frequently on the outsides of holsters because, again, they look a little bit nicer. And then, if you remember when I was doing the dye, I had a little bit of an issue getting the dye into some of these nips and crannies. So I found little glass medicine droppers. So there's one with an angle. I don't know why anybody would ever need an angled one, but hey, there's an angled one, so we're probably going to use it just because it looks fun. And yeah, so, but again, just to show you all your pieces, this is the back plate, your ammo banding, you know, the nice contrast stitching came out pretty good. And then, of course, the holster. I really like how the stitching came out. I'm so glad I did it this way. It does look like one big continuous thing all the way around. I mean, that wind is whipping. So I'm gonna get started real quick because I'm sure it's probably gonna rain again, and then you're definitely gonna lose the sound of my voice. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this. We're just gonna do this, and then no, you know what? I think I'm gonna start with the ammo banding because this has the little nooks and crannies, and again, sometimes you got to use what you can find because again, dauber's not going to work on this. It's not going to be able to get it without just running off of it, and I'm cheap and I'm poor, so sorry about the camera. So I want to try and retain as much of my material as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and tilt you down so you can see what's going on, and we're just going to go ahead and paint it. Now, before I start, it's got hardware in it already, so I don't want it to affect that. It won't because it's metal, but I want to get that. Then I actually ran out of my normal gloves, so I have to use the ones I use for work. Luckily I have a few boxes of these laying around. So, because I'm going to be picking this up and moving it, I've got my cardboard laid out so I don't, make a mess on my table, even though this table is a royal mess already. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, I don't have to depress this. I don't have to, or compress this at all. So hopefully it'll keep the bubbles out. I've had pretty good success with that so far. So we're just going to let it absorb some, and we're just going to paint this on there. And the reason I like doing this after stitching, there's a bubble. The other good thing about this sponge is it'll actually pull the bubble out. So, that's a really handy little thing it does. But, so if you push too hard, it'll actually create the bubbles. But I think I've been doing this long enough, I can kind of paint that. And I am going to go a little heavy on it because this isn't sealed on the back side, so I want to make sure it gets in there and all the threads. Again, sorry if you're losing my voice. I won't know until I replay this video later, but I want to get this done. So I'm just letting it run into all the little areas. You want to get a nice even coating. I'm not sure if the weather affects how this stuff dries. I'm sure it does because we're in southern Louisiana, so it's really humid. Right today it's been storming on and off all day, so this probably isn't the best day to do this outside. That's why once I finish, created the soap bubbles. Once I finish with this video, I'm actually going to take everything inside, so I get a little less humidity on it, and yeah. How long have I been unfocused? I hope it wasn't long. I'm sorry if you guys miss anything because it's my camera is not focusing properly. And I said it in another video. I'm not sure if it's part of this little series on John's holster, but if you watch any of the other ones, I talked about Resolene and the bubbles. And if you try and get rid of a bubble after it's dried, it'll actually peel off, kind of like dried skin. So, I'm going to set this down for a second. You're going to use our little medicine dropper here. Come on, focus. What is wrong with this thing? Come on, I'm at 8 minutes already. So, I'm going to use this. It's actually kind of cool because I want to get in all these holes in the back and in the top. So, I am actually going to just let this make a mess. That's why I got my cardboard. And this will actually, got a few bubbles. And just kind of work this around and make sure it's getting everywhere. Yep, actually touched my mouth to it. Sorry, John, if you're watching. So I'm starting to notice something about this medicine dropper, is it's actually creating bubbles. So I don't think I'm going to be using this too much. I think I might have to go with the old school version of let it just run down and hope for the best. But leather doesn't agree with metal, so I don't want it to corrode his rounds or his gun or any other metal object. I think it sounded like I said medical, that he may put in here or on this holster. So luckily this would be the only time I really have to do this kind of stuff. So I don't, especially so close to the end, I don't want to screw this up because I can remake things in the beginning, but after the weeks I've put into this, or I should say days because it hasn't been continuous weeks, but he's been waiting very patiently for a little while, so I definitely want to get this finished for him. And I am just making a mess. Can you actually, yep, you can see that. And it'll absorb into the places even if you don't see it, but again, I want it to be as nice and even as possible, and this is going to be super snug. I learned the hard way in doing or working with Resolene and Super Sheen and any kind of sealant or protectant that make sure I don't have any bubbles in here. Oh, that's gone. Alright. Oh, and I made a mess again. So I got it pretty well filled in there, so I'm going to come back with my brush and fix where my fingers were. I'm sure I pulled it off somewhere, and now I'm just painting my fingers because I'm in the way, and small projects like this need they need to be moved around because I've got to seal the edges, the front, the back. I don't know if I finished my sentence, so I'm going to say it again. The reason I like to seal it after everything is stitched together, I don't know, I don't think I've seen a video where anybody did it before, but the reason I like to do it is because this actually makes like a plastic coating, and to me, I've noticed on a few things that I use myself, that it actually protects the thread, because I mean, hey, it's just string, so it'll eventually fray and fall apart, things like that. So with this, it really tends not to have that issue. So how are we doing on time? We're at 11 minutes, perfect, because I'm almost done this. I just want to make sure it's got a nice, because I don't want any water coming in on the back side, and again, soaking through the leather and getting to his rounds, and then his ammo doesn't work right, things like that. So, well, there we go. See, it's still kind of wet now. It'll all dry out, hopefully nice and evenly. Backside's not going to be covered, so it's not really the end of the world. And yeah, there you go. You know, obviously I'm a mess, so I've made a mess with my cardboard. So yeah, protect whatever surface you're doing. We're going to go ahead and cut this off now. Let me go ahead and stand you back up for a second so we can finish talking. So, ammo banding seal, it's done. It'll dry, depending on how even it is. I may throw another coat on it, probably not. I don't really see a need for it. I might though. We'll talk about it. So it's gonna be the end of this one. Like I said, I'm gonna probably take all my stuff inside, get out of the weather, and then we're gonna have one last video, and it's gonna be done. You're gonna see the shine. The shine is so exciting with leather when it's finally done and it's not raw anymore, and it's, oh man, it's great. So anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn you guys off. I hope you've been enjoying it. Stay tuned. We're gonna have one more video and we're gonna be done. Y'all have a good day.